Come one, come all, and witness the amazing spectacle and explosive grandeur of capital ship warfare. Welcome to Dreadnought. Now, let's talk for a little bit about what Dreadnought actually is. If you've looked up the game, you've probably found something along the lines of Dreadnought is a combat flight simulator developed by Jaeger Development and published by Greybox and 6foot. It's been in development for a couple of years at least, with the first previews of the game being shown 2 years ago. It is due for release sometime later this year and is currently in closed beta. Now, the closed beta began a few days ago, and I was completely unaware that this game even existed until I laid eyes on it on a Twitch stream and decided I'd give it a try. And man am I happy I have, because I've fallen in love with Dreadnought from the moment I've jumped into a match. So much so, in fact, that it's made me want to make a video and tell everyone about it, which I'm quite the rookie at doing, so I hope you'll excuse my shortcomings. Now, you'll be judging if you like this game or not for yourself, so let me try and detail a little bit on how this game plays and exactly why I like playing it. First off, Dreadnought is a multiplayer game that falls within the same genre as games such as World of Tanks, World of Warships, Armored Warfare, or MechWarrior Online. That is to say, it is a team versus team tactical combat game. There are certain similarities to those games in the sense that it has multiple classes of vehicles that you can choose from. Each fills a certain role. It allows for customization of your ship and character, both functional and aesthetic, and makes use of elements like terrain to maneuver around and use as cover. It also appears that it might be intended to be released as a free-to-play game. Now, this is my personal judgment, looking at the general layout of the game, things like the progression system, premium or hero ships as they're called here, use of premium currency that's used to acquire these hero ships, as well as ship cosmetics and things like hats for your pilot. Now, that's not a bad thing in my book if they manage to steer clear of the trash heap that is pay to win, but I am definitely just speculating here, as I've not seen an official statement on this just yet, so take what I've said with a grain of salt. That is, however, where similarity to those other games ends. Dreadnought has generally slow, ponderous ships, almost chess-like gameplay at times. It introduces new elements to the formula. It makes it feel absolutely fresh, captivating, and action-packed. For one, let's talk about ship systems. Each vessel has 2 weapon systems, 4 additional modules that they can use, and 4 officer briefing slots. Excepting your primary weapon system, all of these are customizable. There is a large variety of options to choose from even in the closed beta, and I'm sure more will be added later down the line. You unlock these as well as different ships as you level up your character, and they all do different things. And I do mean different, as you can have multiple loadouts of the same vessel and fill various roles. You can kit up for close range brawling, long range bombardment, mobility, more of a supporting role, so on and so forth. The ships themselves come in 5 types and sizes. Dreadnoughts are the massive armored backbone of your team. They're slow, they're durable, and they're dangerous. Destroyers are quicker than Dreadnoughts, and they're versatile combatants. They're a bit less tanky, but are able to fill a large number of roles. Corvettes, on the other hand, are fast and agile by comparison. They're definitely fragile, but they can hit and run, they can flank enemy positions, and use neat little tricks like cloaks and afterburners to sneak up and pick off squishy targets. Artillery cruisers are fragile, long-range support vessels. They're able to put out good damage over huge distances and function effectively as this game's version of snipers. And tactical cruisers, finally, are light and maneuverable support craft that will generally heal you, keep you from going up in a giant fireball, while also being able to deploy some interesting gadgets around the battlefield. Now, there are multiple ships to choose from for each type, and while in terms of specs they all fall within the general outlines of their class, they have different strengths and weaknesses, which probably doesn't surprise you. The interesting thing, however, is that outside of the primary weapon system, which is fixed, your secondaries, your modules and officer briefings, those options overlap between ships to some extent. This means that you can end up with a large variety of ways in which you can set up your craft, altering its behavior to a significant degree. So let's take the Invictus Dreadnought, for example, which is the first Dreadnought that you'll be able to buy. It's fast for its class, its weapons make it good for over medium range engagements, while its primary and secondary modules give it long range power via nukes and vulture missiles. Its perimeter module will fire auto-targeting guns at short range, and it has warp jump capability, effectively allowing it to blink for 5 kilometers. A pretty well-rounded setup as you look at it, but through the progression system, for instance, I can equip it to launch fighters, drop sentry turrets, boost the armor of other ships in my team, or lock tractor beams on enemies to pull them in close. coupled with different officer briefings, which effectively function as ship traits, or talents, as you might see in other games, I suppose, I can reduce my module cooldown when my shields take damage, for instance. I can trade speed for durability, or gain energy when I'm hit from behind. And that's just a quick example of the variety of options at your disposal. And hot damn, every ship is like this. So speaking of energy, the energy system is probably the best addition to the formula, and it does a good job to further engage the player. Shortly put, each ship has a rechargeable store of energy that you can dump into either engines, weapons, or shields on the fly. As you might expect, diverting power to engines turns your ship from turtle to hare while energy lasts, and boosting your weapons dramatically increases your rate of fire, and dumping juice into your shields, however, that will raise a temporary defensive barrier that will either absorb a large portion of incoming damage or block it altogether, depending on what ship class you're flying. Now, this extra bit of resource management really adds a lot, I feel. It gives you even more options, and it's crucial you learn how and when to use your energy to do well out there. And man, will you cry when you lose all of your energy to a destroyer's drain torpedo. Now, currently, Dreadnought has two main game modes, Team Deathmatch and Team Elimination, which are exactly what they sound like, with the mention that in Team Deathmatch you can change ships or loadouts if or when you're blown up, letting you adapt to the battle environment. Given that a team only consists of 5 players, keep this in mind as you will want to do this. Now, outside of all that, there's really not a lot to say except giant capital ship battles, man. And that should tell you anything else that you need to know. You want to fly a ping battleship around, firing broadsides into the side of your unfortunate target, or have tactical, deliberate battles in a squad with 4 other friends? Then you might want to give this a try. Just keep in mind that for now, this is closed beta, so to play the game you will need to either sign up and hope for a key, or purchase one of the founder packs available on their website, which I will link in the description. It might not be your cup of tea to drop money on a game like this that isn't out yet, and I respect that. I for one am pretty comfy having made the jump, as the devs seem nice, the community is great so far, and I'm having tons of fun with the game, and I'm more than happy to support its development. Now, let's get all that out of the way and have a look at the battle footage going on in the background. So this is a game I played the other day. It ended in a defeat, which is fine. It was definitely a fun game, a pretty close game as well. And we're currently looking at the team selection screen. So if you look at the top of the screen there, you'll see the rest of my teammates picking their ships and what those are. I'm currently flying an Invictus Dreadnought. I will be flying that for most of the match, as well as a Corvette when things started kind of going south, and I was trying to get into something that is more capable of making a difference. So, the Dry Dock map. It's a pretty fun map. I've only personally seen about 3 maps so far, so no doubt they're still working on it. It's bound to be much more than 3 maps by the release of the game. So going around, looking at the mini-map, you can see your team there. You can see the enemy team there trying to get it sort of into position and open fire on each other. And if you look at the heads-up display, you'll see the energy bar that I was talking about towards the right there. Basically, every ship starts with 100 in it, and the things that you do, the systems where you allocate it, will drain it. Some more quickly, some more slowly. Now, opening up to what looks to be an enemy destroyer, first thing that happens is I get a drain torpedo to the face. All the energy is gone, so I'm unable to bring up shields to defend against the salvo missiles, and it really takes a lot of health out. So, time to duck behind the mountain and give my my damage control teams a chance to do their work. And yes, you do have regenerating health in this game. If you're out of combat for a little while, your HP will start to go up relatively slowly. I don't think it's too much of a concern. I know some people don't like regenerating health, and that's fine. I think it makes for a bit of a more engaging game, to be perfectly honest, in this particular set of circumstances, because you don't want to end up roaming around on 12 HP all the time. So enemy Dreadnought comes around the corner, launches his salvo missiles. I fan out my rear end, making sure that every single missile there goes into the building and hits absolutely nothing, while also get nuked. But I do have enough energy to bring up my shields just in time to absorb most of the damage of that salvo. Switching to secondary a bit too late, unfortunately, as he ducks behind the the mountain there, but he is warping forward, so we're probably going to see him show up any second now right in front of us. Or not. Another enemy Dreadnought there. That is his May class. He's significantly heavier than I. That is to say, a bit more durable. Different types of armaments. He is most definitely a bit better at firing his guns over long range. In that sense, if you look at the crosshair there, you see it's colored red right now. That is an indicator of how good you'll do over certain ranges. If the crosshair is red, then there is going to be minimal weapon fall off. You're going to do pretty much maximum damage. As they move further and further away, it's going to turn yellow and then blue to signify that you're barely having an effect. Now I did manage to get that guy down with a combined spread of vulture missiles and a nuke. And a big salvo of enemy missiles is coming in with me on very low health. Pop shields last second just to make sure it lasts long enough. Take all of the missiles straight in. And if I had not popped my shields, I would definitely be dead. I'm on 123 HP. Now, from experience, there's no numbers, so I can't verify this. Obviously, you know, beta means that a lot of stats are not there. A lot of descriptions are kind of messed up. But from personal experience, shields tend to absorb something like 75% of damage. So I would definitely have died there if I didn't bring up shields. So it's definitely worth keeping in mind and making sure that you properly manage your energy, because it can save your ass. Now, if you look at the top of the screen there, you'll see my 4 modules. And in the case of this Invictus here, the way I have it set up is my primary module is a nuclear missile, my secondary is a spread of vulture missiles that you've seen me using before. I then have heavy autoguns, which automatically target things over 900 meters. I believe they can fire up to up to 4 concurrent targets at the same time. You don't have to aim for them, you just have to activate them. And I also have a warp jump, which lets me basically blink over 5 kilometers. So moving around the corner there in the mountain, trying to get this guy down. Unfortunately, something that I've managed to miss for this entire game is the fact that nuclear missiles are not guided. So you fire and forget basically at one point or one target. If they move away, they're likely not to be hit. What you can do, however, is you can detonate them mid-flight. So if you pay attention to where your nuke is, and you can detonate it before it goes past the target, get them with the massive AoE. And it looks like the enemy team has managed to crawl up our behinds with a couple of Dreadnoughts. Trying to hold the line here. 2 Dreadnoughts, 1 Corvette, and 1 TAC Cruiser. So far, we're doing a decent job of it. We got 1 guy down, and this guy's going to go down in short order. Right as he warped. He died mid-warp. It's kind of cool. Now switching to plasma cannons, trying to get that guy over almost 5-kilometer range. Unfortunately, that's a bit far, so I'm not doing full damage at all. But I'm going to get vultures out, trying to get them with them. And we're being flanked by another Dreadnought. Now a nuke manages to get him on the chin. And the Dreadnought to our flank warped straight in front of us, so technically that should not be a very good position for him to be on, with basically what is our entire team straight in front of him. And my nuke unfortunately missed, so like I said, I forgot to detonate it. It went straight past and smacked right into the ground. Vulture's gonna fly out. Trying to grab him as I run out of ammo in the main gun. Switching to secondaries. Enemy Dreadnought right up close, right there, unloading into us. Firing secondaries. Our secondaries do slightly more damage over short range, but they also have shorter range. So as he goes in close, gonna activate the autocannons, see them unloading him there, and he's gonna go down in short order. For a Dreadnought Warfare Ribbon. Time to turn the guns to the enemy Dreadnought in front. Nuke going out. Vulture's going out. Unfortunately, I'm down to half health, and I'm pretty much in the middle of all of their lines of fire. Gonna bring up shields, but that's not gonna be enough to save me. And even the deaths are beautiful in this game. So that guy that killed me is flying a Silesia, which I believe is the hero artillery cruiser. And you need to know that hero ships, which are basically premium vessels, they're no better than any other ship in this game. They're effectively the same class as any, well, they're a class that you can buy, let's put it that way. The only difference is that they come with a preset configuration that you cannot alter, and some visual upgrades. But all of the modules that they use are definitely things that you can get for yourself via the progression system, so there's absolutely nothing there that is overpowered. Now, that guy killed me, so I'm going to try and get around the mountain here, come in behind him, with a slight boost to my engines to get around quicker. Going to come straight in behind. Dump in the vultures. Dump the nuke. And he's gonna go down quickly. Unfortunately, that maneuver has also placed me in the middle of their team, and they're quite angry with me now. Gonna bring up my shields and try warping out. Unfortunately, I had that guy targeted when I warped, which means I warp straight alongside him. And he is big and he is angry, and I am on half health with energy running out. Even a boost to my engines is not gonna get me out of this one. And going to go down again. Making for my second death, I believe. So it's at this point I'm thinking, looking at the score there, and I see we're losing 75 to 40. And, you know, obviously their RD cruiser is putting in a lot of work. They have the attack cruiser that's keeping them alive, so long range exchanges aren't really working out for us. So at this point I say, okay, I'm going to get in the Corvette, I'm going to try and flank around and be useful. And the first thing I run into is two enemy Corvettes. See one blinking in there with a short range warp. Fire a couple of shots, but I'm not really geared up for a dogfight with targets around my size, so I'm going to take the first opportunity to disengage, pop the afterburners to put in some distance between us, and engage my cloak. And that's one of the things that Corvettes can do. You can cloak and you can move around. You can be spotted by people that are paying attention, but you will not show up on a map or on a heads-up display. So I come and run behind. I see their attack cruiser there. Gonna close in, be able to lock on my torpedoes. Let loose torpedoes and beams, which are secondary weapons, especially strong over short ranges. Get them down. Pop the afterburners and put some distance between me and their team. Now I try and engage my cloak there. Unfortunately, if you get hit, your cloak dissipates. Come around in behind the guy who fired on me, get him down for a double kill. And unfortunately get pulverized by missiles while I was furiously mashing the wrong hotkey instead of my anti-missile laser defense system, which is my perimeter module in the case of this Corvette. So circling in on the enemy Dreadnought, fire a couple of shots, but I'm super low health. Nuke comes in, friendly nuke, just as I cloak and move away. And I can see the respawn ships coming in again. That's the attack cruiser again. It's a good opportunity to be annoying and disrupt their support. Gonna decloak, fire torpedoes, beams. Should have been a bit more close. A bit closer to them. Beams not doing maximum effect, and I try and warp out as their entire team converges on me, and fortunately not gonna do anything. For my third death. In fact, I was killed by their attack cruiser, which is kind of funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, the attack cruisers can definitely dish out damage, but they're generally there to support the team and heal people up. So warping back in, boosted the engines to get around a bit more quickly, get back to the action, pop the afterburners. And gonna cloak in. Now right in front, we see the enemy's main Dreadnought. Not a very good target with just me here and him on full health, but there is the attack cruiser again, proper target for me to go on. And just as the Dreadnought tries to warp away anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to do much of anything. However, I am free to open fire, get a range for torpedoes. And he's going to go down just as I spend my last round of ammunition in my main gun. For a payback ribbon. Payback. Burning away, cloaking up. Just as a nuke hits both of their Dreadnoughts, so a chance for me to break the cloak and put some damage in before the guy warps away. And unfortunately, it's at this time that I panic, thinking that someone fires at me. Turns out it was actually a friendly repair beam. But no matter. I get around. I'm in a quick Corvette. I'm going to support my buddies in trying to get this May down. Switch to beams. Torpedoes in, and he's going to go down before he completes his warp as well. And unfortunately, that's kind of it, because with that kill, the enemy also gets a final kill, and they reach the required 100 points to finish the match. But it was definitely an exciting game. I don't really care that we lost. It was definitely fun. And to be perfectly honest, I find that I win more than I lose. I think that was my second ever loss, which is not really saying a lot, since I think I've only played about 12 or 15 games or something like that. But it's definitely fun, and every single game has presented something that is exciting and cool moments. And really, people kind of tend to coordinate. Obviously, if you want like proper team play, it's probably going to be better to play with a squad of 4 other friends or something, so you can properly select your ships and have builds that go nicely together, and coordinate and do all sorts of tactical shit like that. In any case, that's it for me today. Thanks a lot for your time and attention if you've stuck with me so far. Once again, apologies for any editing shortcomings or stuff like that you've probably spotted in the video so far. And hopefully this video was at least mildly entertaining, if not mildly useful to you in trying to decide if you like the idea of Dreadnought as a game. And let me know, I suppose, if you would, if you find this cool or enjoyable, or you'd like to see more of it. Just let me know, drop a line in the comments or hit a like button or something like that. I don't really know. This is among the first times I've ever done this. In any case, thanks again, have a good one, catch you around.